This episode is going to be a dedication, man, to a homeboy that I just lost 2 days ago. And it's wild because he was probably the first friend I had made at Watson Chapel High in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. And I ain't going to say his name or anything like that because it feels a little phony just because we ain't talked since high school. Since I left the Bluff, I ain't hollered at him. But I got a message about 2 days ago, and it was my brother, actually. He was like, yo, I think your homeboy just passed away. And I was like, what? It's getting weird outside, man. It's getting real weird. You know, speaking of weird, we watched a weird-ass documentary.
Hold on a second. Motherfucker, the shit that I said in the beginning, make sure you cut that shit out. Don't put that shit in there.
I can't hear anything I was drinking. What'd you say? Tell Them You Love Me. That's a documentary we are talking about today, and it's gonna be a wild ride. Let me tell you something about this. It's directed by Nick August-Perna, and it explores the contentious relationship between a white, able-bodied professor and a non-verbal black man with cerebral palsy. The man's mother claimed he couldn't give consent, sparking a nationwide debate over power dynamics, disability, and race.
It's a heavy topic, bro. I mean, honestly, the way I feel about this documentary, without actually going too deep into it, I feel like this is borderline the same type of the shit. When you hear about people that fuck animals, that are pedophiles, that also fuck dead people, and then there's this shit. I think those are all the people.
Got you.
And it's like if you know something is against the norm and it's wrong, but you somehow convince yourself that it's right, and then you try to convince other people that it's right, or it just bugs me. It bugs me, and I'm very disgusted.
Let's give people a synopsis of what we're taking on this journey we're taking on for how long is this? An hour and what? Hour 30, hour 40, I'd say.
It was an hour and 40 minutes. I couldn't wait till that shit was over. I'm not gonna lie.
Damn. So the way it opens up is you're introduced to John
Derrick Johnson.
Derrick Johnson, who is the man who suffers from cerebral palsy, and you know the first opening shot immediately establishes sympathy for him. You can immediately tell that he's clearly suffering from something. So anyway, the mother ends up bringing him to the doctor, and she says, "Hey, I think something's going on with my baby." And the doctor's response is, "You're comparing him to his older brother. Don't worry, he's fine." That's how we're introduced to young brother Derrick. So they do find out that he's got cerebral palsy, and then you get even further in with the brother, who's a PhD student at Rutgers, and he's the one that meets Dr. Anna Stubblefield.
So we do not derive attributions of intellect straightforwardly from cognitive skills. Indeed, cognitive skills are as elusive as skin color and evade measurement just as much. The notion of a measurable intelligence quotient, or the idea that any test of specific skills can measure intellect in some general sense, is itself part of how our contemporary understanding of intellect has been constructed.
She was an ethics professor, and she's doing something that's ethically immoral.
And man, it's funny how ironic these things seem to happen, right?
I sound like a motherfucker.
She was teaching an American Studies doctoral program that John was in. During that, she had brought up a video that it showed a young woman that was suffering from a mental condition that nobody seemed to be able to help.
Right.
So they got this device, they hold it up to the young girl, and she can basically press on the keys to type out her message. Well, John gets interested in this and basically approaches Dr. Anna and tells her, "Hey, I've got a younger brother that's suffering from a similar condition to what this tape is showing. Do you think we could get him in this program?" The first suggestion she had was like, "Yeah, but it's gonna cost you a lot of money." So she ends up deciding, I'll take this on personally after meeting him and try and see if this would be of use to him and how we can help him out. She first gives him practice things, not the keyboard itself, but like she wanted to test his cognitive function, how much he could understand. So she laid out pictures, and then on the pictures were like, I don't know, what's that? Exactly, simple things.
Fruits.
And she would ask them, "Hey, point to the fruit." And then she said he would raise his hand, and then it would kind of jolt, and he would never be able to fully complete the motion to put it down exactly where that item was. So she decided that I'm going to help him by supporting his arm. And when she did that, he was able to complete the rest of the motion and point to the things that on the table. So she's like, okay, there's some basic cognitive function here. He can at least identify items. Let's test this further. I'm going to give him note cards, and they're going to have...
It was BACT, and she wanted to see how many words he could spell out of those.
Correct. And, you know, she never said exactly how many he could spell, but she was like, he showed some sort of promise in this area.
Yeah.
So then they moved to the actual keypad. It was one thing for him to do big picture items, but he would struggle when it came to actually pressing the smaller keys. So instead of holding...
Couldn't hold his hand steady.
Exactly, right? Because he's suffering from the movements, and who knows what what interruption between signals between neurons are going on between his brain and the rest of his body. But he couldn't do it by himself. So instead of holding his arm on the bottom, she would take his finger, hold his finger, and then help him, facilitate him in pressing what it was he was trying to spell.
She was asking him, he typed in D-Man or D-Man, what she was asking what he likes to be called.
D-Man, yeah, this shit too. We're gonna stop right here too because this shit was weird.
I'm like, where the fuck you get demand from?
Thank you. Yo, because I think for the most part, 98% of at least brothers who watch this shit was like, if you don't call that man D-Man, why the fuck are you calling him D-Man?
Because I think his mom was like, no, a teacher had
called him D-Man, not D-Man. That would be like, yo, like everybody's called somebody like, yo, J-Dog or J-Man, but you wouldn't say J-Man.
J-Dog.
Yeah, what the fuck is that? What? No. Okay, so that I think was a cultural thing. His man was D-Man. Now she got me saying this shit. So basically, like New Jay was explaining, she was like, what do you want to be called? Because I've been going off of what your brother and your mother have told me that you want to be called. What do you actually prefer? And then he had said that, or he expresses that one of the things he regrets in his life is that he was never given the opportunity to pursue higher education because his brother at this point has gotten a PhD. So she brings up to the family that, hey, the man would like to attend college. And they're like, okay, cool. Let's put him in this. I think she brings up the idea at Rutgers. They have an afternoon class in African American literature, which I think is interesting that that's the class he ended up picking since her interest was also in like African-American studies and race, and seems like something that she would be interested in, but that's not the point. That's the class he ends up getting put in, and the way they work it is he's got an assistant that helps him with the keys, and it seems like also Dr. Anna sometimes is in there to help him with the keys as well, and whenever the teacher would ask questions, the man would type in his answers in the keypad, and then they would say it out loud to the teacher, and then same thing with his assignments. Academic rigor, right? The test of college education and the fact that not everybody is accepted to college because you may not have the grades, you may not have the, I don't want to say mental capacity, but like it just may not be for you. But in this instance here, it seems like maybe they slid some of the requirements because the ish that they were showing that he was writing would not fly in a college paper anywhere.
Well, I think that if Anna probably, because bro, after watching it, man, she could talk her way into some shit. You know what I'm saying? Use her credentials. You know what I'm saying? You never know. She was helping him do a lot of shit. She might have helped him got in. She might have helped him get. You know what I'm saying? You
think that they might have smoothed the doors just on some like this would be a cool story or?
Because if you remember right, they were in class, right? They were in class, and she had spoke for him.
Yeah.
And apparently he was like, "Yo, I didn't say that shit.
Right.
Don't ever speak to me again." She was just like, "Oh."
Hey, why did you do it exactly how I imagined she would have done it, bro? Like she kind of liked that shit a little bit.
She did that shit in the document. She was like, "Oh, he's taking charge." And then she had the audacity to say, "I like men that take charge." Like,
yeah, it starts getting weird. Yeah, we are right on the cusp of when it starts to get weird. The man at one point had expressed his dissatisfaction with her because he had said blankety blank about whatever subject they were learning. And she was like, hey, wouldn't it sound better if it was like this? And he said, I know what you mean, but say what I said. And so they get called on. This is her recollection. They get called on, and she says the way that she thinks it would sound better. Answer moves on, and the man types in, never ever do again. And she took that as the man was mad at me. The man was pissed off. This was the man pissed off. And I didn't understand at the time why she said this, but later on it makes more sense. But at the time she says, I had never done that before, and I never did that again.
That's when her pussy started to get wet.
Say what?
That's when her pussy started to get wet.
I can't with you, bro.
Because, literally, after she said that, she was like, he's starting to show signs of taking charge. And I like that in my relationships. Love a man who takes charge.
All right, so let's move forward then. Maybe this is the turning point, right? She does like this taking charge thing.
Yeah, hell yeah.
They have more sessions, more one-on-one sessions, and I guess the man is expressing his interest in the arts and in culture, and she's finding him to be a highly intellectual individual, which I'm not gonna discredit her and say he's not. I just think this is hilariously funny what she's saying compared to like what the father and the brother, I mean not the mother and the brother are going through with this young man.
You have no idea how much he's really aware of because you're not in his head.
At all. That's true. That's a fair point. 100% true. So he could be this extremely captivating, interesting individual, and she somehow tapped into it through this device where he's typing in incomplete sentences. But she starts taking notice of how intelligent he is, and she says something along the lines of, I'm a nerdy intellectual girl who finds that interesting in a man. I want a nerdy intellectual man, and the man was showing that. And I was married at the time.
Oh my gosh.
And that Wait, no, let me finish. And the man was showing that, and I was married at the time. Fast forward. Say what?
She had a husband and 2 kids, bro.
Husband and 2 kids.
And something else I want to say? She's spending all this fucking, like, what would fuck me up, what bother me, you spending all this time with this dude unsupervised.
Yep. She's a doctor. Why would I supervise her?
That's my whole point, bro. Like, I feel like the parent and the brother was just so trusting, and you know what I'm saying, that by the time they checked in, shit was already in effect.
Because at this point, she starts saying things along the lines of, the man, what do you think about love? And and the man, and I felt bad for him when he said this. He did say something along the lines of, like, I would like to be in love, but unfortunately, I don't think that's something that's meant for somebody like me. For people like me. And she says in the interview, not actually in that moment, like, she wanted to scream out, no, you can have that with somebody. You can have it with me. Somehow this fast forwards to they're having a private session, and I think she just says that randomly she tells him, I love you, the man. And he types back, somebody types back into the facilitated, I know, I love you too. Which my first thought was, what if he was just saying, like, no, I love you because, like, you've done a lot for me. Like, I love you like a friend. Like, he not even saying that I, like, love you. I love you. And it's crazy, right? Because the entire documentary, they started by saying all of the transcripts that are shown on screen are from the actual recorded device. Yeah, I don't think...
I know this part because after that, he asked her for a kiss.
He does. And does she deliver, new? Does she deliver, new?
She's like, yeah, so I kissed him. And, like, I mean, he's just so cute. And I mean, I'm just like, what the fuck?
And y'all gonna understand why I'm laughing in a second, because, what happens with the allegations of how this actually works is messed up. That's why I'm laughing, not because of the situation, because outside of the context, this is perfectly fine. 2 consenting adults kissing, that's love, that's beautiful. It's the shit that's surrounding it that makes you start to laugh. So,
It's the two separate things are going on here. Mentally, she's thinking of something, and mentally, he's thinking of something. Like, she's preying on him.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. There's no other way to describe it. Yes.
No other way to describe it, bro. Like, it's just like, it low key remind me of Jada Pinkett and August Alsina because it was in the time when he was in need of help. She was help. She's not a fucking therapist though, but I'm saying, like, when people are emotional or going through something or seem weaker, they tend to get taken advantage of.
Afterwards, now the mom and the brother, they starting to notice some things, right? They starting to notice somebody crossing some boundaries. How do they notice it? Well, I'll tell you how. One instance was the mother starts getting comments from her where she's essentially saying, you've got to stop babying him.
Oh my God.
You've got to remove the titty from the mouth. He's a grown man.
I think you left a part out. I think he apparently Derrick D-Man told her that his mom treats him that way. That's what
told the doctor that.
Yeah, that's what catapulted her to speak up for him.
Okay, got you. Okay, so there's that exchange between the two of them, and then Dr. Anna decides to go tell the mother, like, you need to let him go. You need to let him be more independent. You know, because he wants to. I think he expresses that he wants to move into an independent facility living place, right? Or is that later on?
He wants to break away. He said so. He wants to get away from his mom.
Yeah,
and he wants to get his own care provider.
Right.
But did he really say that though? Like,
we don't know because I didn't see no messages. Although they said all the recorded messages was on that thing, they didn't show not a single one that said, I want to live by self.
And even
so they're hanging out, kicking it. And I think this is a point where the man is going through his trainings with Dr. Anna, and they must be doing it at the house or somewhere where the brother is there. And at some point, John says, man, I can't wait for us to be done with this so we can go grab a beer. Dr. Anna then says, actually, he prefers red wine.
Didn't he say that? No, I think the man said he prefers red wine.
Was it the man that said it?
Yeah, because I was wondering, red wine.
Wait, the man can't talk. How is he talking? What are we talking? How did he say it? Somebody tell me this kid, the man talk or not?
Nah, bro, I think he, I feel like he communicated with.
Explain to me, how did he say it? Because it seems like we're going back and forth. Can this man talk or not?
He didn't communicate with his brother. They didn't have like a way of communicating with him.
The mom at the beginning said he taps on the table and knocks on walls. How do you communicate red wine through a tap and a knock?
Damn, bro. You sure it wasn't like Morse code or some shit like
this? Nigga. Hey, we should.
And how was he drinking this shit, bro? Like, he didn't ask for this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because of the hands and stuff like that. So what are you forcing it down? You know what I'm saying? How are you giving him this shit?
Can he even drink beer? Is that allowed? I don't know how this shit works. I'm assuming yes.
Well, I mean, he's human, right? So I'm pretty sure he could do.
I love that you said, because this is what's going to happen with my counter argument later on when we talk about what happens next.
I'm pretty sure they
can do adult things. Go ahead.
Yeah, but the consequences, I don't know how that affects someone with that.
Got you. So one day, Dr. Anna and the man are in the table at the home, and Dr. Anna is noticing that the man seems upset, just not as engaged in something. I think they might have kissed again or something like that, or right? No, I think she said that they had kissed, right? And she noticed that he seemed to be just frustrated, and she also makes note of, like, she was kind of educating him on how to kiss because he can't necessarily work his lips the right way, so they're still. Hey, dude, can you hear me?
Yeah, bro, I hear your ass. All this shit is disgusting to me, bro.
So she's trying to work it, trying to make him feel comfortable and teach him how to work his lips so that they can kiss properly. They're home alone. And like I said, she's noticing that he's frustrated by this, so she's asking him, like, what's wrong? I'm just gonna skip over some things, but basically gets upset, gets up from the table, and goes into the bedroom.
He can't walk. How the fuck is
I don't know how the man is doing this shit.
That's my whole point, bro. Like, when she says this shit, I'm just like, how? Yo, you see his brother help him up, right?
Yes.
You see his mom hold him when he walks.
Yes.
How the fuck is he doing this shit?
She gets him up, takes him to the room because she knows he's frustrated. She goes and sits back down, and she's like, oh my God, he left and he's frustrated. Then she gets back up and walks into the room. She wants it to be as real as possible. So she does that. She goes and sits down beside him and is like, the man, tell me what's wrong. I'm guessing she brought the facilitating thing with her. So he basically types in, like, essentially something along the lines of, like, because I think he says something along the lines of he's not sure if he can fully be a man with her, or he doesn't know if his
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's like there's only one way to find out.
It goes from him being frustrated to her to getting told take her shirt off, and she's like, I mean,
I didn't expect that.
Right, but okay, this is the man taking charge. So
oh my God,
she takes her shirt off, right? So
no,
now
he didn't take off shit.
You're right. Yeah, he don't take off shit. So now her shirt is off, right? They out there. Then he's like,
why you got your shirt up, Jay?
I want to set the scene. I want them to understand what was happening. You can not happily, but you can visualize what happens. So they sit on the edge of the bed. He's like, take your shirt off. I'm guessing he typed it on the keyboard. That took 20 minutes. After that, she took her shirt off. And then another 20 minutes came, and he was like, I think he told her to take her bra off, or did he go straight to feeling her breast?
Take your bra off. First he said take all that, and then take the rest of your clothes off.
All right, and take the rest of your clothes off. So, and she was again like,
apparently he was seducing her.
Yeah. That all came off. So now she's sitting there butt ass naked on the bed. And he's filling up on her breast. He's like, I want to touch your breast. And then, can he move? He can move his arm. No, I've seen him move his arm. He can move his arm. So he moved it and touched one breast and then eventually touched two breasts. And then she was like, I think she was just like, then we had sex. Right?
She said they made love.
Okay, my fault. Let me put some respect on it. So they made love. Remember, the man can't walk. He can't talk.
I think all that shit just turned her on, bro. The whole act, like
the power.
In her mind, bro, I feel like this is why I said, bro, this is like on some pedophile time. I know he's not a kid, right?
Yep.
But the innocence, right? It's like, oh, like everything's very just like kiddish to me, bro.
She's like, I knew that I was going to leave my husband. I was going to tell my husband that I was going to leave him. But me and the man were trying to figure out the best way to tell his family about us, or should we tell them about us? And, you know, she's around the house a lot. She's going on like trips with him and ish. And one day they're all at home and something blows up to where eventually she's just like, should I tell them? And then Mama's looking around like, tell me what? And she's like,
we're in love.
Okay. Followed shortly after by, we've made love. I'm sure there were some questions in between, like, what do you mean y'all are in love? What does that look like? But somehow, the next thing that I remember,
because she said the mom did ask, what do you mean? Because she said that in that moment she sat on her hands.
Oh, I love that. That's a great scene. That's a mama who's like ready to go full mama bear, boy. She was like, I'm listening to this lady at my kitchen table tell me about what she's doing with my son, and I just had to.
Because the brother had got up. He said he got up and he went down to the basement because he had to calm himself down.
He looked like he was gonna kill somebody.
Yeah.
But so the therapist breaks down for the mother and the brother that I've been all up and down the flow with your son. They say get the fuck out. They don't. They actually hug and have like a very amicable. Okay, we need time to process this. You got to go. So she leaves, and that's the last time her ass gets to see the man. But she cannot comprehend that what she did is wrong. So instead of being like, you know what? They're not pressing charges. They're not calling the cops. They're not causing trouble. Let me just move on. I got whatever nasty kicks I need to get off and move on with my life. She starts blowing them up, leaving voicemails. They play an actual voicemail from her where she's talking about like...
bothered the shit out of me.
This shit is crazy. This is the psycho part of things. Go ahead.
Yeah, there was a voicemail when she was like, I just want to know what's going on. I don't know anything. I want to know if is it possible? No, it was an email.
She left it to the director.
Yeah. I'm just like, yo, that is crazy. Like, she really sounds psycho, bro.
She's sending messages off to the mother talking about when's the next time we can get together. Let's talk about this. Me and Deman are in love. You don't need to keep us separated. And the mama's just like, I'm not bringing my baby back around you. So she sends the director an email saying, like, they're keeping him away from me. I don't think this is right. You know how parents are. They don't know what's in the best interest of their child. And I think that the best thing is let me see D-Man one more time. Like, she's completely delusional. This is in 2015. For some reason, she thinks that this is an okay email to send. So the brother...
2011, bro.
Huh?
2011. She was in court.
Oh, you're right. 2011. It's way too late. This isn't the 1970s. It's crazy that this is happening in 2011. Yeah. So the brother eventually gets fed up. And he goes to the director and tells her, like, hey, your doctor, whoever in-house that was facilitating with my brother, slept with him, tore him up from Timbuktu, broke the cherry, popped the pillars, took him to the promised land without my permission. You need to something needs to be done. And the director is basically like, you need to get a lawyer. And then need to get a lawyer. And from there, it goes to mama in the interrogation room, breaking down to the detective. Breaking down to the detectives, what happened, and then comes the sting. And I mean, as soon as this phone call started, I was like, yo, I hope she don't say nothing. This clearly sounds like a setup, because Anna hasn't heard from this family in a little minute. All of a sudden, mama's calling you up and asking you like, hey, break down in detail what happened between you and Demand. Go on now. And she's like, oh, well, me and Demand had sex. And then she's like, well, now how many times did you have sex? We had sex like 2 times. Well, what happened? Like, describe the sex that y'all had. This should have been a red flag to her. But she's like, well, I have a big office floor, humble flex. I went, Nuja, you can't hear me. You can't hear me. I went and I got a mat and a beach towel. What the fuck is the beach towel for?
The cum, the liquids, the stains, whatever.
You need a whole ass beach towel for Demand's nut?
I've done that. I mean, yeah.
A beach towel?
Bro, it's better safe than sorry, especially you fucking on the fucking mat. Or, for example, like, mom, please forgive me. I used to fuck in my mom's car. But, nigga, like, you know what I'm saying?
A beach towel? Dog, you know how big a beach towel is?
Yeah, but you know how, nigga, when you having sex and you fucking spit or cum goes, bro, you're not thinking about none of your aim.
What is you doing, brother? What is going on with y'all? What freaky Frankenstein type sex is y'all having that y'all need a beach towel to clean up everything that's happened?
Not even that, but it's like, let's make sure we fuck just on this towel so that way nothing gets to where it's not supposed to be.
The man can't move. Where is it going?
How you know he can't move?
Because they said he can't move. He can't walk. She eventually ends up in court, and she's being charged with something. They do the letters from John, who, let's see, they have an excerpt right here. He said, I don't think Anna understood the depth of pain she caused my family. She tried to lay claim to him and rename him. She tried to supplant Derrick's life, a life steeped in the history and culture of his God-fearing, Southern-rooted African-American family. And then outside of that letter, her husband also wrote a letter that, they don't have it here, basically said that Anna was an egotistical, maniacal woman who, he was basically done with her. There was nothing defending her in that damn letter. She gets found guilty of 2 charges. Those charges are aggravated sexual assault in the 1st degree, and she gets sentenced to 12 years in prison. And she ends up only doing 2 of those years, pleads down to a lesser charge, and gets out. The reason she ended up escaping 10 more years was because of a technicality. A 3-judge panel overturned her conviction after determining that omitting facilitated communication as a defense infringed on her rights. So basically, during the court, one of the things that we should bring up is the documentary starts to express 2 things. One, they'd gotten another expert to come and evaluate Derrick to see what his cognitive ability was. Could he consent to sex? Because that was the biggest argument. It was like, could he consent to having sex with this woman? And he determined that Derrick was insufficiently able to do so. He basically had the mind of a preschooler, is what the man had found, because he couldn't do simple tasks. Like, he could identify a spoon, but he didn't necessarily know how to use a spoon. The second thing that the documentary starts to present is that facilitated communication, at least largely considered by the science community, was a hoax. It didn't actually work because, as you had stated earlier,
what they were doing was they did a blind test where the facilitator would come in and show them sneakers or spaghetti, and then they would type it, and they noticed that the student was typing what the person had, what the facilitator had saw. Yeah.
But because when they got to court, the judge basically said all of the communication that happened on the device that involved Derrick, he ruled that wasn't admissible in court. So they couldn't show any of the things that Derrick, quote unquote, said in court. Well, then a court later on with 3 judges were like, that's BS. And because of that, she should be allowed to leave. That case should be thrown out. All of that to say that she eventually got released after 2 years. She now lives somewhere in Connecticut or somewhere in the Northeast or some ish like that in a very nice house. That's how the story ends. She talks about how she still loves him and would love to see him again. And, she's...
Anna's mom couldn't empathize nor sympathize with what the black mother was going through in regards to her son because they both have kids. Now, I would think from mother to mother, you would be like, damn, because she's expressing it, yo, your daughter was wrong, took advantage of it, this and that. Wouldn't you be like, damn, let me check my daughter, let me see. But I didn't see none of that, bro. No, nothing.
Let me shoot back this then. Because we've seen in our own communities, like parents will protect their kids to the end of the day. You know, like most parents will protect their kids. They could literally find their kid with a knife in their hand. Now, I as a parent might go to you in private and be like, you know what you did was wrong, right? Like, you know you fucked up. But in public, I don't want to do anything that's going to further lead to you having worse punishment. So on this camera, I'm going to say what needs to be said to exonerate you.
I mean, it doesn't really matter if she says what you said because either way, she still got sentenced, right? She still got sentenced.
100%.
That's still her daughter, and I feel like wrong is wrong. So if if you can't see what this mother is going through, because think about it, what if it was flipped?
Oh man, she'd be asking for somebody to get hung.
You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, she not what the black one gonna say? Oh, my baby would never do. No, she'd be like, well, damn, like that's my baby, yes, but I mean, damn, it's you know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
true. One of the things the mother said that bothered me was when she mentioned that her son is now masturbating and she had to put him on medicine to stop it. I don't think that's a normal response. That to me reminded me of those old Southern mamas who looked at masturbation as a sin, and she has the power to stop him literally from doing it by putting him on medication when that doesn't require medication. That is a normal, healthy thing for a young man to want to do, especially one that's never been exposed to sex. Because we can't on one hand say that this man can drink and that's fine, but then if he's having pleasure, he's having sexual fantasies, that's suddenly a wrong thing and we need to medically stop it.
I mean, I'm not going front, bro. I wouldn't want my son doing it. If he was mentally had some stuff going on upstairs, bro, I wouldn't want him playing with himself. Like, I just wouldn't, bro. It's just not a scene I want to walk into. First of all, she got to clean that up. Secondly, you know what I'm saying? That's something that it's like, damn, like, I don't know, man. You got to see how that probably affects her, bro.
She is going to control his sexual experience until she dies. And we can't be like, oh, it's bad because she feels some type of way, because it's not about her. It's about that young man, and like at least he's getting some pleasure out of the hand thing than no pleasure. He's 40.
So she's like, and she's saying, I mean, he didn't know nothing about it. So I mean, to see that or walk in on him or whatever, she's taking care of him. I mean, would you be okay with catching your son doing that shit?
Yes, you a grown man. Not okay. I don't want to see it, but if you're a healthy young man, yeah, hey, do what you got to do. If that's what you feel like doing, I'm not gonna judge you for it.
But I'm coming from a place of she's probably doing it so much, it's gonna damage him.
But she didn't even say that. She said he started having masturbation, and that's just.
She literally said he can't get enough of it.
Okay, but her definition of as a Southern woman could be, I walked in on him twice doing it once a week. That's too much. Right. Come on, man. No, I didn't like that. And this is also, I'm gonna start playing devil's advocate here pretty soon. Some of these thoughts I agree with, some of these I don't. And this is why I like that they brought that expert in, Dr. Was it Davi Katznitz?
White dude with the white hair?
No, the woman suffering from the condition where she can't control her body movements.
Oh, yeah.
I like that they brought her in because I see what they were trying to do was provide a sort of bridge between those with full, complete disabilities and those who don't have it. And they were using her as kind of an in-between to be like, what do you feel about this? And she expresses throughout the documentary that the thing that people sometimes are overlooking is Dr. Anna was trying to provide a way of expression for Derrick that he's not getting anywhere else. So in looking at consent and what that means, nobody will ever be able to know whether Derrick gave consent or not. Because one, I don't know where the hell the transcripts are for that device. Two, if they are in there saying he did it, we will never know if it's from him or if it's from Dr. Anna. And three, we can't ask him. What we do know is that after having sex with Dr. Anna, he started masturbating. So clearly, there's some sort of interest in the act of sexual gratification. And it's not like this is a 12-year-old or an 11-year-old. This is like a 30-something-year-old man. Is he not indicating that he might have enjoyed what occurred with Dr. Anna?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. But I think because of his situation, it just feels and seems wrong.
To who? To him or to us?
Well, to him, it's just like, yo, I enjoy this shit, right? Like you said. But to the people taking care of him, right? And I wish his brother would have spoke on that, because his brother didn't say his opinion on it.
No, with what he felt his brother enjoyed it or not, you talking about?
With the whole jacking off thing. The mom.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. No, he didn't say anything about that.
I'm curious what his standpoint, because here we are arguing about it.
Right.
The mom, what you're saying is probably correct with the mom, but I'd like to hear his brother's viewpoint.
But this is all about how we feel. You're putting what we as a society feel on this disabled man, and not what he feels and how that should affect us.
If I didn't have to take care of him, I wouldn't trip.
Do you think it's possible that we're upset that this able-bodied woman who's not ugly decided to engage in sex with this disabled man who's not stereotypically an attractive man?
Yeah, I don't think it's bias on that. I don't know if it's bias on that. I just think that you're a medical professional, you're a therapist, or whatever the fuck you is. This has got to be against your moral. You mean to tell me like this? Why? How long was she doing this profession for? Did it say?
Ooh, I don't remember that part. She was.
All right, let's just say 20 years, 15,
right.
20 years, right? And this, you just now fall in love with one of your clients?
I mean, that to me goes to the point that she's not doing this with everybody. If it was a power thing solely, she would have done this with everybody she had power over. It was just Derrick.
So why was it Derrick? That's what I'm wondering.
Because Derrick expressed the interest of, as a man, like, you don't fall in love with everybody you meet. Certain people you spark with. She sparked with with Derrick.
And nothing told you that this shit was against whatever the fuck you doing.
Ethically, I think you're right. I think that was a bigger problem to me, was like, you are in a position of being a caregiver and you stepped over the line. You should have removed yourself as his facilitator and ceased all medical contact with this man. But if we're talking about two consensual, because like my thing is, if we're going off of the theory that Derrick is a 5-year-old mentally stuck in a 30-year-old's body, okay, cool, can't give consent. Didn't y'all say y'all gave this man beer? So did you give a 5-year-old beer? Is that not an issue?
And that's why I put it in the same category as pedophiles and stuff like that. That's why I think that this shit is kind of like, I don't know, man. It's the power dynamic that fucks with me.
So if they had showed the transcripts on that machine that said he consented to it, would you change your opinion?
After I seen how they said that some people may force, hey, I can't trust it. Once I seen that, I was like, so I don't even know if he was really saying what he was saying. And they actually said that shit at the end of the documentary.
Right.
We don't know if he was actually saying this shit or if she just made this shit up. Because
we don't know.
Yeah, because her husband said she was narcissistic, controlling, you know what I'm saying? And she was just lying. She'll lie to herself. So like, it's like, well, damn. What really happened?
Let me ask you this. We don't know for sure that, but we also don't know for sure if Derrick was speaking for himself, because there were several examples that they showed where Derrick had wrote sentences for his classes.
Yeah.
One of the biggest ones that sticks out to me is when they showed that he had said, never, never again. That's not no type shit that she would just randomly put on there. Why would she tell herself?
Why you say never, never again?
He had said that because she spoke for him. And he was telling her, don't ever speak for me again. Why would she write that to herself? Does that not seem to suggest that at least some of it he was writing?
Possibly some of it, yes, possibly. But I also believe that there's a 50-50 chance that he was writing some of it. But she's still smarter than him, bro. She still knows, you know what I'm saying? She can easily manipulate it, bro. Easily.
Because what we've also seen throughout this documentary, and they said it in the very beginning, Derrick knows how to express himself. If he wants to eat, bangs the table, eat. If he likes music, sways.
She didn't say no shit like, oh, he wanted some pussy, so he grabbed it.
That's not my point, though. So he does that. When he likes music, he sways. The brother says that he could see that when you read a newspaper, Derrick would kind of look over. So everybody's acknowledged that, for at least on some basic level, Derrick can express satisfaction, dissatisfaction. Right. He'd been kissed multiple times by the doctor. They had sex more than once. If at some point Derrick wasn't okay, why wouldn't Derrick express dissatisfaction or suggest clues to dissatisfaction?
I see what you mean, because they've been doing it multiple times. And shit. Yeah, 100%. I get it. I totally understand that. With sex, yeah, that makes perfect sense. But everything, bro, I don't know, man. Like, some of that shit might have been fabricated, bro.
The conversation could have been subconscious, because they did say it wasn't that somebody had said that it wasn't malicious in intent that the facilitators were doing this. It's a subconscious act.
I just think that, the mother, the black mom feels like, and the brother feels like their brother son was getting taken advantage of because of the situation.
They felt that way. And the one person we don't hear from in this documentary? Derrick. At no point do they bring Derrick up.
Yeah, I just think that, I don't know if all that shit was necessary what happened to her, but definitely what was necessary was removing her from her field of,
for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I mean, she's got to recognize that. I don't think she ever apologized. I think she, though, should take a step back and be like, yeah, ethically what I did was wrong, and I should have recused myself, or whatever the definition for that is in that field. Definitely should have stepped back. I do want to add that this is currently the second most watched documentary on Netflix right now. So
is it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was just reported. So it's gaining some steam. So, go check it out for yourself. Let us know your thoughts in the comment sections below. Hey, do you got any recommendations for people right now? Something that they should be watching, peeping, whether it's music, film, television shows. Just give a recommendation to the people. What should they be on?
Go watch Bad Boys 4.
You seen it? Oh, we didn't get your final. Hey, give us a quick review. Give us like a 30-second review. You finally saw Bad Boys 4. What'd you think, man?
Oh, I thought it was good for the time period that we're in. I just think that, if you miss the dynamic duo between Will Smith and Martin Lawrence from the first two, that's just never coming back.
It's definitely expanding. Definitely expanding. Okay. All right, that's your recommendation. I think I'm gonna do a song. I'm recommending that you listen to Beer with Dad, Trevor Jackson, song on Spotify right now. I think it's a really dope song. Listen to it a few times. Really different take for young Trevor Jackson. Usually R&B guy. This is more of a country R&B kind of mix, and I fucks with it. Fucks with it heavy, so go check it out. That's all the thoughts I got. That's it.
To the butcher shop. Oh, chop. Girl, I know you like ham. If you Jewish out, you got locked. Hey,
yo, he was the funniest person in the entire movie.
Check the lyrics. I take you to the butcher shop. Let you lick a big pork chop. Girl, I know you like ham hocks. If you Jewish, I even got locks. Hey!
Yo, Camel Mouth. That's 50 Cent.
Cal, that's not 50 Cent. He talk about candy. I'm talking about meat.